The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have placed another player on the injured reserve. This time it is one of their most reliable blocking tight ends. Shout out to Sleeper, by the way. More on them a little bit later on in this video. So, folks, the Bucs have placed tight end Kieft on the injured reserve. It is very likely that his 2025 season is done. Now, they did add a tight end to the practice squad in Caden Prescorn. I will probably talk about him in a separate video, as well as some of the other players the Buccaneers worked out before they added Caden to the practice squad. But today, I wanted to focus more on Kieft, because I understand that there is a lot of people who were wondering, why did Kieft make this 2025 roster, myself included, right? I was very curious as to what the overall big picture value Kieft was adding for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and a lot of people had pointed out was, well, this guy is a very good blocking tight end, James, all things considered. And yes, whenever we look at what Kieft was able to do for the Buccaneers this season as a blocking tight end, it was very notable and worth mentioning, right? Shout out Sleeper, by the way, more on them in just a second. But look, man, whenever we talk about Kieft and his overall blocking ability, that's the main reason as to why he was on the Buccaneers roster. You take a look at these overall grades here beneath me. Run blocking grade, week 1, 55.6, week 2, 67.5, week 3 against the Jets, an 83.8 overall run blocking grade. Even pass blocking, 70.2 against the Falcons, 70.9 against the Jets. This is a guy who was used in a blocking type of capacity. Even take a look at his overall grades throughout his 4-year career in Tampa Bay. You take a look. This dude was used primarily as a pass blocker, 73.1 overall pass blocking grade, among others. But before we dive into that deeper, I do want to say shout out to the sponsor of this channel. It is Sleeper. If you guys do use the code MrBucs, you will get a $100 deposit match up to $100. That is, again, whenever you use the code MrBucs. Guys, download Sleeper today and enjoy football the way it was meant to be. That is together. Now, back to what I'm talking about with Kieft. So, obviously, as you can see, Kieft is a guy who is used in a lot of run blocking, a lot of pass blocking opportunities. In fact, in the 29 snaps that he had so far in 2025, you take a look, 22 of them were run blocking snaps, guys. Even last year, 107 total snaps, 90 of them were run blocking, and he was a pretty good specialist at that. You look at the pass blocking grades, a 73.1 in 25, 82.9 in 24, 68.2 in 23, and a 68.6 in 22. And then in the run blocking, it's pretty serviceable. He was very good this year with an 83.6, a 60.6 in 24, 60.9 in 23, and a 65.0 in 2022. So the Bucs are certainly going to miss Kieft in terms of his run blocking, just the overall ability that he added to that room, because he was used a lot in like a fullback in the backfield in terms of blocking in that capacity, adding him to the end of an offensive line to block in that capacity as well. So how are the Bucs going to be able to not necessarily replicate what Kieft was giving them, but add that presence yet again to their run blocking ability? Well, I imagine Cade Otton is going to be used more in that role. I imagine Payne Durham is going to be used more in that role as well. In fact, I do want to look up what Payne Durham has done as a blocker for the Buccaneers in the past, because he's a very serviceable run blocker as well. You take a look in the past couple of games. Against Atlanta, he had a 73.7 run blocking grade. Against the Houston Texans, a 74.7 run blocking grade. And then against the Jets, a 58.0. And then you take a look at his grades the past couple of years, 67.1 run blocking grade in 24. In fact, out of the 443 snaps that he had in 2024, 250 of them were run blocking. In 2023, 150 total snaps, 68 of them were run blocking. He's got great pass blocking grades as well in his career, 72.2 pass blocking grade in 25, 78.0 in 24, and 70.7 overall grade in 23. So I really do believe that Payne Durham is going to be that first guy to pick up and replicate the role that Kieft was giving you with the Bucs. I also do want to mention, because he is going to pretty much be active every single regular season game now going forward, it's Devin Culp. So he is a different type of tight end than what you get in Kieft. Devin Culp is more of a receiving specialist, whereas Kieft was more of a blocking specialist. And in fact, you take a look at his overall career, he doesn't have any snaps in 25 so far to this point. He only had reps in 2024. And as a run blocker, 59.5, not the worst thing in the world. In fact, the best overall blocking grade he had was a 60.0. He hasn't really been used at all in his career as a pass blocker or as a run blocker. I think that that is going to have to change here going forward. You are going to have Devin Culp out there to help with blocking opportunities more, because yes, Payne Durham can do it, yes, Cade Otton can do it as well, but the Bucs do like to kind of throw 3 tight ends out there sometimes to help out in blocking situations. Devin Culp is going to be a big guy who is going to have to be used more in this offense as well. And the Bucs are already dealing with injuries in regards to their run blocking and pass blocking and stuff like that, with Gedeke being on the IR. He's going to be out for at least the next 3 games. Cody Mock, he's out for the year. You've also got a guy in, again, Tristan Wirfs coming back from injury. That's going to be a huge help to this offense as well. So I am curious to see, like, if the Buccaneers add more of, like, offensive linemen to that mix, right? Where it's like you throw an extra offensive lineman out there instead of not using Kieft. Maybe you use Benjamin Chukwuma as a versatile type of offensive lineman who you just throw out there. We've seen teams do that in the past as well. You've also got backups like Tyler McClelland, who was promoted and elevated to the active roster. Luke Haggard may be another option also. I'm very curious to see what the Buccaneers are going to do to fill that hole in that run blocking specifically that Kieft has left. But what are your guys' thoughts and opinions about this? Let me know down in the comments section below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.